first of all, and based on that we have to solve some problems. Okay, the problem which is mentioned there, that we have to solve by using the technique mentioned in that particular practical. Uh, it's mentioned that two different kind of programs algorithms that we have to solve. Let me share my screen first. Yeah. Let's see the practical what exactly is given. It's very big things written there, but it's not that much difficult to understand. So let me share the screen first. Yeah, practical number three. Okay, before proceeding, I just want to ensure that maybe I'm having some problems in the network connection. Connected. Yeah, it's coming. Download the Abalone dataset. Abalone, I don't know why they are taken Abalone. It's not having that much accuracy. But that dataset we have to download from the given link, which is having 8 number of attributes. Okay, like sex nominal, that is I, M, and F, male, female, and infant of the Abalone. I'll show what is Abalone actually. Length of that shell of abalone is given in millimeters, diameter in millimeter, height in millimeter, whole weight in grams is also mentioned for whole abalone, shucked weight in grams also mentioned, viscera weight also in the grams is mentioned, shell weight in the gram is mentioned, and rings, that is age or class of abalone. Actually, age or class of abalone can be found with the help of number of rings given inside it. Then what you have to do, load a data set from data file and split it into training and testing data set. Summarize the properties in training data set and number of rings in value to predict either as a continuous value or a classification problem. Continuous with regression. Predict the age of abalone from physical measurement using linear regression, or predict ring class as a classification problem. So two are there. Either you have to use, both you have to use linear regression also and a classification problem also using the abalone data set here. So let's talk about the abalone data set first. What's the meaning of it? We will see and then we'll proceed further. So open your Jupyter notebook. Just a minute. Sorry, Jupyter notebook. Open the Jupyter notebook. And the link which is mentioned there, the link which is mentioned there, on that the abalone data set is present. Okay, just a minute. Let's check that. Link is for UCI machine learning repository.
Sir, your screen.
From there you have to download Abalone data. Let's see what is Abalone. And then it will we'll come to know about the properties of it. UCI machine learning repository, or that the Abalone data. Okay, so I'll search for that. Abalone. Okay, let's see the images of Abalone. Yeah, this is the link from where it's required to download data sets. I've searched for, in Google also you can search it. Now see, it's Avalon dataset. And the meaning of Avalon is this. It's a shell like thing. This is what Avalons are. You can find it. See. Fine. And its properties are given in a data set. Like this is what the URL is there. archives.ics.uci.edu/ml dataset Avalon. Okay, which is shown in your syllabus. This one. Okay, same data set. Okay, correct. And in that data, we are having 8 attributes mentioned. All data is mentioned. All everything about data set is mentioned over here. You can just see this. All data set is here. Description, and description also mentioned here. So what's the meaning of it? That will talk. See, predicting the age of Avalon from physical measurement. The physical measurement are given. Based on that, you have to predict the age of the Avalon. Age is actually not present there. It contains the number of rings at the last column. The age of Avalon is determined by cutting the shell through the cone, cut, stain it, and count the number of rings through the microscope. Okay, it's a boring and time-consuming task. So other measurements which are easier to obtain are used to predict the age, like weather pattern, location, may be required to solve the problem, but they are actually not mentioned in the data set over here. So we can use this data set to perform the operation by something. So original data example, missing values, they are removed and ranges from the continuous value scaled using the artificial neural network. These are the data set. Given is the attribute name, attribute type, measurement unit, brief description, and the number of rings value to predict. Okay, either as a continuous value or as a classification problem. So it's also mentioned there. You can use either continuous value or classification problem. So many values are there. We will see the classification first. We'll see classification first. We'll create classes of it, and then we will see the concept of regression. So we'll have continuous outputs. Possible to have categorical output also and continuous. Both outputs are possible there. That's why we'll be having like this. Okay. Fine. Now we have to read it. But before that, let's see the URL. You have to direct fetch that information. Let's click on the data folder. And here the Avalon is present. Okay. See this. Correct? Right click on that. Copy link location. Right click on this and copy link location. So we require that in our program. So let's go to the Jupyter notebook. Create a file. And let's start with the practical number 3. Classification and regression. So let's start with classification first and we go for the regression. Yes. So first of all, we have to import it. So it's required to read that data, complete file in the code. So let's import the pandas as PD. So it's required to read this file specially, and let's read it. pd.read_csv. Paste the link here. Yes. See that. That's done. Simple. Copy it and paste it there. I have copied the data location. What was that? It was avalon.data file. Its link I have copied and pasted here in the read.csv function. Check this. Read it. See what data is presented there. Data does not contain the names to the column. Read it by the system. So complete link I have copied and pasted here. See avalon.data file. And by the direct URL, I have read it, printed, but column names are not there. First row shows as the column name. Correct. Some pre-processing are required, that also mentioned there. That also will see whether any pre-processing is required or not. Okay. So using this link, the read CSV read it. Now, few pre-processing are required. First is we have to assign the column names. Column does not contain the names. Okay. So we have to assign the column names by our own. So go to the data set again. Sorry. Yeah. Where is that? Huh. Sorry. Here. And check the attribute names. They are mentioned here. Even your practical also to mention. First parameter is sex. Second is length, diameter, height, hole weight, stuck weight, fixera weight, shell weight, rings. So let's use this all. Sex, length, diameter, height. So I'm creating a list here. Length, diameter, height. What's the other? W weight, S weight, V weight, shell weight. Yeah. Column names I'm giving by my idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ninth one is rings. How many rings it is having? So see, this is what I created here. Column names I assigned. You can take it from the syllabus itself. The same names are there. I want to assign these names to the columns. Okay, then a perfect data frame with table column names are possible there. Fine. Now what we will do? These names I want to assign to the columns here. So what is required? After that, I'm giving a parameter names here. Okay, names equal to COL. See, this parameter you have to pass at the end. Names is equal to COL. Fine, execute it. Let's see. So sorry, I think something is missing. How many rows are there? Net problem. Yeah, done. See this. Fine. This is the way that we have to follow. Create a column string and attach here like names is equal to COL. So the name that you mention inside the COL list that will be taken and will be attached as the column names here. See, as the column names that will be appearing. Okay. So all 7 columns are there, which I have given the names. Now it's mentioned there that ring is the output variable. Depending upon the sex, length, diameter, height, weight, shell weight, V weight, many other weights, rings is outputted. Ring is depending on. So we will see one example. We have seen the classifier, new base classifiers. We will new base classifier there. And regression, we have seen linear regressions. We'll apply linear regression to check the result of it. Okay. So names I applied, names equal to column. Fine, it's done. I think if it is done, then let's proceed further. TF I got, and let's continue and check the summary. It was given to check the summary of it. So summary in terms of different kind of statistical information about it that we can find by this particular method. So let's see this. It's mentioned. So data set has 8 attributes. Out of that, 7 are the input, 1 is the output. Say age or class of Avalon. Load the data from data files, split into training testing data sets, summarize properties, training data, then number of rings is valid to predict either as continuous or classification. Okay, so let's go for that. Before making train and test split, I think we have done already probabilistic classifiers. Same thing we'll do here. Train algorithm for training algorithm will use training data. For testing, we'll be using testing data. So let's have summary. Describe. See, this is a summary function which is used to summarize everything. You can try that. Check it. Length, diameter, height, weight, S weight, V weight, SH weight. Okay, all that I'll summarize. Almost similar kind of entries, similar kind of values are present there in it. See, describe, and even data types also. One column is missing here. Sex column is missing. That is male, female, infant. These are not numeric values. They are the character values. So if you want to check that df.info, and use this function to check it. Info. Only this is object. Remaining others are numeric. Remember. So as I told already, data pre-processing that machine learning model or numerical models. They are based on the mathematics and statistics. So they will not take the string values input. We have to pre-process data again, convert that into dummy variables. That also we have seen. For this case also we'll do the same thing by applying the label encoder. We'll encode it in the form of 0, 1 and 2. Which one? The first column. That is the gender, sex. Fine. To describe and info will summarize your data set. Correct. So till this it is done. I think what tasks that we have done that's are completed. And the next important step is to split your data into train test format. So training data will be like 75%, testing data will be 25%. We'll use to test and check the effectiveness of algorithm on that given data. So rings and remaining 7 variables are correlated related by some model or not, that we can find. So from sklearn dot model selection, we can import train test split function. Okay, and now we have to split your data. Before that, you just can check it how many entries are there. Return entries are 4177 entries are there. So 4177 is a very large data set. So we have to split 1000 almost entries in testing and 3000 in training. So training will take that 3075% entries actually. So let's do that. X train, X test, Y train, Y test is equal to train test split X, Y. Randomization seed point is random state, and the test data set test size equal to 0.25. Okay, that's done. Oh, sorry, we are not separated the data yet. Wait a minute. Just we are not separated the data. We have to separate the data first. Means input are different. Df dot drop the rings. So rings column I'll drop column. That's why I'm going to access here. And remaining columns I'll take in input variable. And in Y, that is I'm having exact output variable, that is rings. It was also mentioned there. Check it out. This one. I'm dropping the rings column and remaining column I'm taking in X variable. Okay, axis 1 means I'm column dropping. Axis is 0, it means that rows dropping. So column I have dropped. And remaining 7 columns are taken in axis. 7 columns are there, which are present in it. Rings column is separated. Okay, X is input variable. This is their output variable, which are predicting in the model. Data model contains X as input. There are 7 variables, are 7 features are there, and 1 label. Even in label, we can see what's the count of every individual variable is present. Count of every individual, that also we can see. So if it is done, then we can check count, means how many classes are there, that we will see, and what's the count of it, means classification problem require that, like it is balanced or not balanced, that also we can check it here, balancing, non-balancing. See, so from collections we will import the counter. Okay, and let's have a counter of Y. You can see this. So we have a randomization of all data set present here. 15 number class Okay, rings are present for 103 times, 7 for 391 times, 9 for 3 689 times, 10 for, it's a complete randomness is there that you can find. And few 1 to 25. Yes, welcome back. It was connected. Sorry for the interrupt. And let's continue. Just a minute. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So what we have seen, we are not going to have the classes from different. How many counts are there for respective classes? Data is completely imbalanced. But still, okay, we will work and check whether it's working fine or not. So from collections, imported the counter. Counter is a class which is used to count how many entries belongs to for particular class, particular element are there in the data set. Okay, this is how the counter will show you. Fine. And before actually splitting again, we require one more thing. What we require? We require to perform the dummy variable encoding, correct? Because the first column sex is containing I, M, and F, which are present. You can check it out if you want to see set of df of sex. So you can have, yeah, F, I, and M. Three different values are there that are possible in that data set. Okay, in that column only. It's a string value, categorical variable. So whenever we are applying the categorical variable to as input to any classification algorithm, it may show the error that string values cannot be processed by any machine learning algorithm. So we have to convert that into numerical format. Like in the previous example also we have seen this, that we have to convert this variable into the numerical format. So to do this one, what we have to do, we are going to make a pre-processing step of label encoding. Okay, so see how to do from sklearn dot pre-processing import label encoder. Okay, import the label encoder class, and which is used to convert data into label format. So we'll see that how label formats are there. So from sklearn label encoder, create the object of it, enc is equal to label encoder, and perform the operations of conversion, like df of sex is equal to enc dot fit transform df of sex. Execute it. Yes, this is done now. And now if you check this here, now check it out. So we have transformed this data from the string format to the numerical format. So 0, 1, 2 are now present in that. So for f it is given 0, for I it is given 1, for m it is given 2. Fine. In this way the label encoding is performed. Okay, try that. Almost all pre-processing techniques are used in the same way, that we have to use a class, create the object, and fit transform. So I want to apply onto single column only, so I'm using single column. That's converted, and after that, if you check the data frame, sorry, wait. So yeah, df is changed, not x is changed. So I have to use x here. Wait a minute. Use x here. Use x. So this is your input actually. Use that x, because x is input, not df. Df is only a data frame. X is the input. See, so input variables we have encoded. So we have encoded the input variable. Encoded the input variable, and that after that we got this result. Just observe it. Perform the encoding on the input variable only on x and x sex column, first column that we are encoding. And now we are ready to perform operation to split the data in training testing format. Okay, is it done? And now after this is completed, we are going to do the train test split. Yeah, this is the main step now we will be following. From sklearn dot model selection, we have to import the train test split, and then we have splitted the data in 4 format. If you check, so 4147, 4447, I think, 417 something. We were having the concept of so the total number of entries are there. And if you see the length of X train, okay, see X training data is 3132, and test data after it will be something like this, 3132 and 1045. So 75% entries are going into training and 25 are in testing. So we have splitted that. One important thing to mention here is that we are going to do this operation. We have done this operation randomly. Randomly means if you write x underscore train dot head, see first 5 entries in it, 940, 2688, 1948, 713, then 37 randomly are present. Original x was going 0, 1, 2, 3 onwards, but now we have randomized all the entries and then they are considered like that. Split it. Okay. Correct. So this ways we have to follow to perform train test splits. The same algorithm or same kind of methodology that we have followed in the previous example also. They have splitted your data. Just observe now x, y, two input, one input, one output, and horizontal split also done. Testing data 25%, training data 75%. So we'll build the model now of classification. New best classifier will apply, and then we'll check the accuracy of it. So if it is done, so let's apply the new base classifier. So new base classifier is present in the package new base in sklearn. Import Gaussian new base. See, so Gaussian new base is the classifier where I'm using the normal distributed Gaussian distribution, normal distribution of data for that. So Gaussian NB is the class name which I have imported from that. Then we create the classifiers object, Gaussian NB. See, classifier object like this. CLF is equal to Gaussian NB. Object is created. And after that, we are going to train the algorithm. So let's train it. Train CLF dot fit on training data only, or to train. Done. Training is completed. And now, as we can see, to evaluate the performance of the model, what we have to do, we have to use the remaining test entries and predict. So y pred is equal to CLF dot predict X test. So X test we have to predict. So whatever entry 1032 entries are there on which you are applied, and now we have tested how many are matching and how many are not matching, that we can see. Remember, many classes are very rare, that's why it may create some problems also. That's why sampling is required, resampling is expected in such cases. Ypred is equal to CLF.predict X test. So Ypred is predicted by algorithm of new base, and originally we have Y test value also. Now we are going to compare. Yesterday we have seen the concept of confusion matrix, and using confusion matrix we can see, but confusion matrix is very difficult to view in this case because some 20-30 number of classes are there in the rings. So confusion matrix is difficult to know. Rather than that, we can have something like classification report. In that we can see the accuracy score of the algorithm also. Even there is a function called as accuracy score that we can try, we can use. So we have predicted on remaining entries 1032, and now we will compare, we'll check the accuracy of it by comparing Ypred and Y test. How many are matching, how many are not matching. So how to do this one? From sklearn dot matrix import accuracy score. Okay, the first function. And from sklearn dot matrix you can import. There's one more function called as classification report. We can use it here. Accuracy score Y test against Ypred. So how many are matching? That percentage will be shown by this. Only 26% are there which are matching with the Gaussian new base classifier here. Check this. The accuracy score is 26% only. So basically data set is not that much good. Data set is completely imbalanced. That's why the algorithm is not working fine. You have to balance the data set, and after that it's possible to apply the actual machine learning algorithms onto it. Try this. Even if you want to see the classification report, see here the class numbers are given 29, and their counts are also mentioned. And how many are matching not is 26% accuracy is there. Above classes contain sufficient number of entries, that's why they are good. They're good on average actually. Remaining others are 0% from now onwards. They are not matching anywhere. Single entries are not matching is not possible. Say accuracy is only 26% for Gaussian neighbors. If we apply another algorithm like decision tree or random forest neural network, then also considerable accuracy is not possible to achieve in such situations because data set is completely imbalanced. So it's not possible to achieve the accuracy for such cases. Okay, so this is how classification algorithm can be applied. We can have input output separated and then build a model, and after that we will get it. Fine. Any algorithm also you can apply. I have tried many algorithms on it, but the data set is actually too much imbalanced. That's why none of the algorithms work perfectly. They are having similar till 30% accuracy only. But if you go to check the regression algorithm onto it, then it goes good accuracy above some. I will show that one also how to use the regression algorithm. So this is what we have. The classification task that we have done. Number of rings is either as continuous or classifications. We apply the classification. Okay, ring class as a ring as a class for classification. Okay, and for regression we will be having the output variable. Okay, in continuous format. So basically, this output variable, which one, 3, 4, 5, that can be treated as a continuous value also. That can be treated as a categorical values. So both are possible. Means both outputs are expected, can be taken expected from that. Only regression will have the floating point values. Classification we have full number values. Classes are there. Regression any possibilities is there. So if this is done, then we will see the second part, that regression will not take much time. It's very easy to do. Pre-processing task is common for both. Just below to it, we have to write another algorithm. Done. Yeah. Now let's go for regression. So classification, I got accuracy of 26%. Fine. Now I apply the regression algorithm onto it. Regression algorithm is not having the concept of confusion matrix or accuracy score. There are some methods, some statistical methods are there by which the accuracy can be found. And let's see that one. So from sklearn, but linear model. We have seen this yesterday practically. So same thing I'll just show you here. You can try by your own. From sklearn.linear model, import linear regression. So linear regression class we have imported. Then we will create the object of it. And then we'll train the algorithm with given data. Fit is to train the algorithm. X train, Y train. Done. Just check it, try. Then we'll proceed further. Okay, now same kind of task we'll do for the regression algorithms also. Just a minute. Now, log y pred is equal to reg dot predict x test. So remaining entries I will be providing, y pred will be generated. The difference is that now we can check the y pred, predicted y by regression algorithms is in floating point format, linear regression. That's the example that we have seen. IMC are calculated, and then based on that the model is built. Now it is doing prediction on remaining 1032 entries that we got. Okay, prediction on the remaining 1032 entries are there. So y pred, the result that we got after the predictions, after using the linear regression algorithm, and we have predicted the result. Okay, but to measure the performance of regression, we are not having category. That's why confusion matrix will not help us. We will be having the data. We are having some measures like mean squared error, mean absolute error, and R2 score. They are used. R2 score is showing the percentage format actually, R2 score, and mean absolute error. Let's see that. Dot matrix import mean absolute error. Mean absolute error. So mean absolute error. Mean absolute means difference between predicted and actual, and they are all average. The average difference between actual value and predicted values. Actual value and the predicted value, that is called as the average difference that we will be having there. Y pred, y test and y pred's average difference is 1.59. Average difference is 1.59 between y test and y pred. Actually less, as we can say, and There's one more method by which you can find the score of difference in terms of percentages. It's called as R2 score. Check the R2 score. Y test and Y correct. This is 53% actually. That's regression algorithm is generating the result. 53% they are correct. That we can see. That's what our conclusion from R2 score. R2 score contains very complicated formulas actually. So in terms of percentages, it shows percentage means 0 to 1 value. So if it is going towards 1, this algorithm is more and more accurate. But from regression point of view, the data set we are using is 53% accurate, and for classification point of view, it is 26% accurate for Gaussian new Bayes. And for this algorithm, it is 53% for regression algorithm. Ready? So this is how the regression algorithm can be used here. So using linear regression, predict the ring as a class and classification problem. So both are having the output variable same. We are having output variable same, and with the help of that, we just can check it. Fine. Accuracy between the regress and predict. If you have any doubts or questions, you can ask. You can put in the chat box also, or you can directly ask also. That's also that you can use. So this is the practical number 3. If any questions, so you can ask, or we'll continue with the unit number 4 onwards. Fine. Okay, the question is, shouldn't be y pred is equal to reg predict extend, not actually. Wait a minute, I'll show one presentation. We have seen one concept. Let's just a minute. Okay, see this. What actually we do? We divide your data in training and testing. So randomly 75% training. So this is X train data. Okay, X train input, and along with it Y is also. We are creating algorithm on training data. Means algorithm is knowing training data, and based on training data, algorithm has learned the things. Correct. So okay, it can learn many things. Okay, it can learn many things on the training data. But how do we know that algorithm is performing well? Only when you apply the data which is unknown to the algorithm. That is called a testing data, because it was not used in the training. That's why if you apply training data again, you may get 90% accuracy also, because model is built on same data again. But data which is not known to the algorithm that should be applied to check the accuracy. That's why training data is not required for prediction. We're going to have testing data, which is unknown data to the algorithm and which is taken from the same data set. Okay, when we are doing the splitting, we are split it training, testing. Training, build the model, testing, check the accuracy. So if you apply training data again, you may get good accuracy also. But remember, that's not the way to do it. If you are having a difference between training and testing, this is called as the overfitting problem. Overfitting. Algorithm is working training perfectly, but testing is not having good accuracy. So data set is not perfectly created. Training is to train, build the model, and testing to unknown values are applied, and then we are going to find the result. So if it is working perfectly on unknown values, then only algorithm is working correctly. That's why training data is not used for the prediction. Remember that. Fine. So if any other questions, so you just can ask. Okay, fine. So let's continue with unit number 4. Yes, it's an extension actually to the previous unit that we have here. So let's continue. Our first topic in unit number 4 is decision tree classifier. Very interesting to see that. Let's see that. Decision tree classifier. It's not only classifier, it's used for regression also. Yeah. Decision tree number 4. First part of the decision, first part of the theory concepts, decision tree is there. So observe the diagram which is shown over here. So we are walking and you have to take one of the path. On what basis you will choose the path? That is what decision tree will show you. So algorithm used for predictive analytics, for classification in common and regression also. But regression is not having good performance. That's why decision tree is a core classifier. But how it does that? So let's see practically. Let's see an example. Suppose a job seeker was deciding between several offers. He's having many offers in his hand. Some closer or further from the home with various levels of pay and benefits. Some are very close to home but pay is not good and very long duration is there. And some are away from the home, pay is good, but you have to waste 2 hours to reach over there. Like, so he or she might create a list with features of each position, and based on these features, rules can be created to eliminate some options. If this, like if I'm having a commute longer than an hour, then I will be unhappy. Or if I make less than $5,000, $50,000 per year, so I won't be able to support my family. Like constraints are there, conditions are there. Based on that conditions, my prediction is my happiness. So what I am to do? Difficult decision is there, predicting. So we are going to have a tree. If this, what's my threshold value? If it above that, then I will go for this. If I am not, then I will go for this. Okay, like that. The difficult decision predicting future happiness can be reduced to a series of small but increasingly specific choices that we can use it here. Let's see how to do this. So here the decision tree comes in picture. A decision tree is a graph represent choices and their results in the form of a tree. In the form of a tree, that's like in data structures, you might have seen different trees, or maybe in design analysis of algorithms, you may have used different trees. So similar concepts are used in decision tree algorithm also. The nodes in the graph represent an event or choices, and the edges in the graph represent decision rules or conditions in the tree. And one of the mostly used for machine learning and data mining and application using Python are both will be understand. Let's understand. As you might intuit from the name, decision tree learner build a model in the form of a tree structure. Yes. Model itself comprises of series of logical decisions taken. Every node is a decision. Above that, below that. So true here, false here. Again, true, false. Like go ahead. So decision nodes are there. So made on an attribute, feature. So on that feature, if that feature is okay, condition is correct, so you'll decide your path to proceed further. So this split on the branches that indicate the decision choices. Split on the branches will have a decision choice. What choice you have to make on. The tree is terminated by the leaf nodes, terminal nodes. We know that. We don't know decision tree, but we know that. Last nodes are leaf nodes, terminal nodes, is terminated, and that is containing final decision to take on. The result of combination of decision is the final node that we have at the end. Yeah, predicting email is spam or not spam. Classification example. Every all maximum classifiers are there, and the regressor is possible, but it's a non-linear regressor. Very commonly is not required, not used. Predicting a tumor is cancerous or not. Predicting a loan is good or bad for credit is based on the factors. Like many classification decision of something that we have to take based on the decision trees. Generally, a model is created with the observed data, that's what is called training data, and the validation data is to verify and improve the model, and output variable is a categorical variable. So many examples are there. The strategy that decision tree algorithm follows is heuristic approach, recursive partitioning that we call heuristic approach is there, and divide and conquer methodology is followed. We know that divide and conquer, like you divide your problem statement in multiple small parts, you focus that problem separately, generate the result, and then combine the results together to find the final solution out of it. That's called a divide and conquer method. This approach is generally known as divide and conquer because it uses the feature values, input values to split the data into smaller and smaller subset of similar classes. Small subset will create. Beginning at the root node, start first, which represent the entire data set. Algorithm chooses a feature that is most predictive target class. So first you have to have a split. Output variable is there. So output variable is decided by a split above that, below that. So I have split. Okay, it's like partition. Like go on partitioning the groups, distinct values of this feature. This decision forms the first set of tree branches. We'll see by example. It's not like theoretically you can understand. We'll see by example, then we'll see by statistics, and then we'll see by practical. So three all method we will apply to understand and learn about the decision tree here. Let's see. To illustrate the tree building process, let's consider a simple example. Imagine that you are working in a Hollywood film studio. Okay, imagine only. You're having a desk. Sorry, your desk is piled with high number of screenplays. Like you are a director or a producer of a movie, and we have to decide. We are having a lot many screenplays. Screenplays, everything, all information about the movie is there inside the screenplay. What exactly is that? Will be the actors, when the movie shooting will start, what is the budget of it, what's the duration of whole shooting, okay, what's the location, everything that is mentioned in that screenplay. Music director, editors, like all everything is mentioned in the screenplay, start to end. Now we have to decide which movie should I produce or direct first, or which movie is having the category like mainstream hit, can be critics choice or a box office bust. So what can be the category of the movie that we have to predict? Okay, three possibilities are there. That's why it is a categorical classification algorithm. Three possibilities: mainstream hit, critics choice, and the box office bust. Out of all three, what can be the possibility of that respective movie is? Now, can I solve by the decision tree? Yes, but what I require? I require a previous data set with me, previously released movies and their information with me. If that information is there, then only I can proceed further to build the tree algorithm onto it. What will do? I need to create a future past information to do the future predictions based on that. So fast, what exactly past value we have? So to gather the data for your model, you turn to a film studio archives to examine the previous 10 years of movie releases. In last 10 years, which were the movies are released, which movies were released, that you have to gather the information from film studio archives and take that information. After reviewing the data for 30 different movies, script pattern emerges. 30 movies are what I done. I have taken 10 movies from mainstream hit, 10 movies from box office bust, and 10 movies from critics choice. In general, box office bust means super hit, critics choice flop, and mainstream hit is a average movie where whatever you have spent that is recovered. So I have identified the relationship between the output and input. Input I got budget of the movie and number of celebrities who are acting in the movie. These two factors decide the output variable. Let's say output variable is your success of movie. That's your output variable. That's it's decided there. So I got the features, number of celebrities and the budget of the movie deciding the output variable. So output variable dependent on that two factors. So I gather the information about 30 movies, 10 from each categories. And I have plotted that data in a two-dimensional plane, and let's see how decision tree can be created for it. X-axis, I have estimated budget in dollars, $1,000, crores, something that we can consider. Just going on increment. Estimated budget. On Y-axis, I have the number of celebrities who are there in the role. Yes, who are there in the role. Okay, so three different categories of movies are there. The red circle are box office bust. Green squares are critical success, and the blue triangle are mainstream hit in the whole data set. Check. Now, how algorithm will build a tree? Now, tree checks that whether is it possible to have exact horizontal and vertical split so that one or more classes can be separated. Exact horizontal or vertical split so that one or more classes can be separated. You can check it out. Exact horizontal split is possible here. Is it there? Is it possible here? No. Here also. Exact one class can't be separated. Here also it is split. Exact one class is not possible. So, keeping the concept of machine learning in mind, machine learning focuses on accuracy, not on the perfectness, accuracy. Consider misclassification can be there, but which will be the perfect split on this. This is the perfect split, phase one. I can have perfect horizontal split on the y-axis, that is number of celebrities I got there above that line, below that line. Number of celebrities are less, red class is there, but two misclassifications are possible. Is there, that's what one green and one blue is coming below the line. But all red are there. Yes, all red are coming under that category. But we can say that this is one class which is separated. So what my criteria is, if number of celebrities are high, I will get red color. If they are celebrities are low, I will get red color. Number of celebrities are high, I will get green or blue color. Green or blue colors, like separation is done above the line and below the line. Correct. Now I got two planes here. Above the line, below the line, planes. So it was having one single plane. Now I have done a split. I got two planes now. Now in both the planes, is it again possible to have a split? Okay, above it's possible. We can have a vertical split there between the green and blue. So check it out. This is how it's possible. Split number two. So the green are separated. Blue are separated, not 100%, but and the red are also separated. Green two are out. Correct. Green contains two out. Red does not contain any out. Blue contains one out. Okay. Red contains two in extra. Blue contains one in extra. Green does not contain anything extra. Something like that. The plot that we got. So two splits are done. And by that we have separated the classes. See, somewhat 100% is not achieved, but okay, it's okay. Now, what's the meaning of it? Here, the red one, when number of celebrities are less, your output is red. When number of celebrities are high and budget is low, output is green. Celebrities are high, okay, and budget is low. Here, below this line, correct. So output is green. And budget is high above this, sorry, and celebrities are also high. So I'm having triangles, blue triangle there. Convert that in the tree. This is the tree generated from the given splits on the data. So at the root node, I'm having a whole data set. 30 entries are there, root node. 30 entries. How? Out of 30, 10 are critical success, 10 are mainstream hit, and 10 are box office bust present in this data set. Decision tree model. Correct. Okay, so I have applied the first criteria to have a split onto it. That is number of celebrities. How many number of celebrities are there? Low, high. Let's say above 5, below 5. Something. Actually, values are quantitative. It's given just directly as a categorical value low and high. Okay, so when number of celebrities are low, out of 30, 12 movies are here and 18 movies are here. 12 movies on the left hand side and 18 are on right hand side. Like this. Splitting is done on number of celebrities, which have done the first horizontal split. Correct. Let's go on this angle, this side. Out of 12 splitted, 10 are box office bust, one is mainstream hit, and one is critical success. So your decision is finalized that the movie with number of celebrities are low is a box office bust. Box office bust. Because now further splitting is not possible there, and almost high priority is there for the box office bust class over here. Okay, go to the second part of it. Number of celebrities are high. Okay, celebrities are high. So 18 movies are there. Out of that, 9 critical success, 9 mainstream hit. 9 critical success, 9 mainstream hit are present. Now what to do? 50-50 is there. So that time we applied the vertical split. That is on x-axis, budget. After celebrities are high, then we are seeing. Then when budget is low, out of 18, 8 movies are critical success. And 10 movies are mainstream hit. Here 9 are here. 9 mainstream hit and 1 is critical success here. Correct. Fine. So if you check it now, low, all 8 out of 8 movies are critical success. When budget is low, critical success, down. When budget is high, 9 movies are mainstream hit, decision finalized, mainstream hit, done. And if you see the leaf nodes are the decisions. Box office bust, mainstream hit, critical success. Tree is formulated, created. And now this tree will be used to do the predictions. How? I will take screenplay with me and we'll check how many celebrities are there, how many, what's the budget. Budget is high, celebrities also high. What is the result? Celebrity is high, budget is high. Movie can be mainstream hit. Movie can be mainstream hit. Celebrity is low, budget is high. Check it. Celebrities are low, budget is not considered. Directly box office burst is there. So budget, if celebrity is low, so box office burst can be there. Okay. And if celebrity is high, budget is low. So celebrity is high, budget is also high. Celebrity is high, budget is also high. So problem is of critical success. So we got a result as critical success, but algorithm is telling us. Okay. Algorithm is showing this result. This is how tree-based model is created. Model will be generated and then it will be used for predictions onwards. Can do the prediction by this method, traversing the tree, reaching toward the node. Conditions, as I told, its node contain the conditions, and based on that conditions, we just proceed further to do the classification. Separate. You can see divide and conquer. So 10 out of this 30, 12 here and 18 here. Out of this 18, 10 here and 8 here. Again, after that, we can have multiple split. It's not compulsory that you have to use the one feature one number of time. Multiple feature also can be taken. For example, if it is not possible, again, if you get 5 here, 5 for example, 5 then maybe algorithm will apply celebrities again. Upper high celebrities, lower high celebrities. Like it was celebrities are greater than 5, that's why it is coming here. It will check above 7 and below 7 again. It's again one more split is possible. You can have a split here. Here also, like again one more split can be done and you can separate a class. That's what is possible there. So one feature can be used for any number of times, and maybe possible that feature is not used at all. That's also, this is the way, this is the model that essentially follows. There are some pros and cons also, and I have not given statistics behind it, how algorithm have chosen, how split is done first. number of celebrities should be there. Yeah. Well, let's try that. What exactly that algorithm is containing. So, algorithm started name is C5.0. There are numerous implementation of decision trees are there, but the well-known algorithm that we use today is C5.0. It was developed by computer scientist J. Ross Gillen as an improvement of the prior version C4.5. And before that, it was an improvement of ID3, iterative digitomizer 3 algorithm. Okay. And Killen is having this particular implementation on this official website, rulequest.com. If you go to that site, you can check the source code of this algorithm developed at the end of last century. Like almost 25 years ago, this algorithm was created. Okay, before that C5 4.5 was there. And let's see the advantages and disadvantages of this algorithm. Remember, this is my favorite algorithm actually, but many problems are there in it. See, it is well purpose, all purpose classifier that does well on all the problems. Almost every classification algorithm the data can be applied instantly and can create a tree also. Highly automated learning process that handles numeric or nominal features, missing data also. Numeric features, nominal features, all that can be easily handled with the help of decision tree algorithm. It uses only the most important features. This is the property of decision tree, most important feature. Maybe if I'm having 10 features, out of that one feature can also be only one to split. Not compulsory all features, all the data which is given as input is taken by decision tree algorithm. Depending upon the feature importance, this algorithm takes the data in consideration. Remember. Then it can be used only on the data relatively few training example also. Means I'm having only two entries, two classes. Decision tree can create it based on some criteria applied. Okay. The results in a model can be interpreted without mathematical background. Complex, more efficient than other complex algorithms. Okay. Easy to understand. That's what properties are. Weakness. Decision tree model are often biased towards splits and on feature having large number of elements. That's also possible. That's also possible. That we can have if single entry is there, it has to classify always. So it will have again multiple split for that single entry also. That's also possible. Bias toward the split. And second thing, easy to overfit and underfit the model. So overfitting and underfitting are very commonly kind of phenomenon used in the decision tree, machine learning basically, data mining. See, overfitting means what? Algorithm has created the data set work so much perfectly. Algorithm perfectly created. It will work very great on training data, 98% accuracy. But when I apply unknown sample, it goes 70% accuracy. 30% difference is there. It should not happen actually. There should not be much difference between training and testing here. Training is well, but testing it shows down completely. Overfitting. Underfitting means data is not 50% accuracy is there. Now all just like the algorithm that we have seen right now, Avalon. Underfitting, complete underfitting. It's not model is not trained well. It actually does not contain any information so that we can generate the perfect results out of it. That's fine. Okay, underfitting. We can have a problem modeling some relationship due to reliance on axis parallel split. Yes. Dependency, perfect parallel, perfect vertical is required. There's an algorithm called a support vector machine. It will do the similar task, but split can be anything. Any angle split can be done. Here we have perfect horizontal, perfect vertical. Like small changes in training data can result large changes in decision logic. Yes, obviously. Outliers can have this kind of effect in the result, final result. Trees are very large trees are difficult to interpret, and the decisions that they make seems to be counterintuitive. That's also possible. So there are the strengths and weaknesses of decision tree algorithms are. Let's go in detail understanding of decision tree. See, it's a part of the syllabus mentioned what is the entropy, what the entropy is used. So let's go step by step to understand that. This topic is very important to know from statistical point of view, how trees generate the result. Okay. In all ML algorithm, ML books or the data science books, whenever the decision trees are given, they are giving this example for that. One golfer is there who has gone on the ground, has visited the ground, golf ground, and based on different atmospheric situations, he has taken decisions like outlook, temperature, humidity, windy. Based on that four factor, he had decided whether to play the golf or not of its own. Let's say first, when outlook was rainy, temperature was hot, humidity was high, windy was false, he has not played the golf. Okay, first case. Yes. Let's say third case. Outlook was overcast, temperature was hot, humidity was high, windy was false. Play golf, yes, you have played the golf. So few are no, few are yes. 14 entries are there, out of that 5 are no and 9 are yes. Now we will build a tree on that and we'll see the statistical methods behind it, how it is identifying this particular result. My dependent variable is play. This is a perfect tree built from that. Total, you can check it. Total 14 output, 14 data sets, data entries are there. 14 times 9 plus 5. This is a dependent variable play. First of all, algorithm has checked outlook. Outlook is overcast for every time. Play is 4, don't play 0. Okay. When outlook is sunny, play 2 times, don't play 3 times. When outlook is rainy, play 3 times, don't play 2 times. So 5 plus 5 plus 4, 14. Correct. Splitting is done perfectly. Then in the next case, see humidity here 50 60 40, here also 60 40. This is finalized here. Now after sunny, we are going to check the humidity. That's humidity is less than 70, play 2 times, don't play 0 times. Humidity greater than 70, play 0 times, don't play 3 times. This is finalized here, here also. Okay. Then next one, rainy. 60 40 are there. So play 3 times, don't play 2 times. Check windy. If it's windy, true. So 2 times play, don't play, and 0 times play. For false, play 3 times, don't play 2 times. Finalized. 2 plus 3, 5 plus 4, 9 plus 2, 11 plus 3, 14. Decisions are done. This will be perfectly created. Then, but on what basis the algorithm has decided that it has to use outlook first? Here humidity, here windy, to have a split on. So that's what the concept is called as entropy and information gain. See, Gini index. So Gini index and information gain, both of the methods are used to select from n attributes of data set which attributes would place at the root node or the internal node. See the formula mentioned there. It's a metric to measure how often randomly chosen element would be incorrectly identified. It means that attribute with lower Gini index should be preferred. Gini index is the impurity present in that. Impurity is less than that feature is preferred to perform the prediction onwards. Entropy. Entropy is a measure of uncertainty of random variable. It characterizes the impurity of arbitrary collection of examples. The higher the entropy, more the information content. See, example there. H of x is equal to summation of negative summation of I is equal to 1 to n p of x of y into log of 2 log of p of x to the base 2. Let's go to an example. So how the tree is actually created. How should we go about building a decision tree? So space for decision tree is too big for systematic search. Things to define. We get splitting, possible. But what is the stop? How to choose the set, how to choose the criteria to have a split on. So basically graph is not created. They are creating a splits and it's like a graph, like a tree actually. So stop and return a value of target feature or distribution on target value. So choose a set which is to split on. That's the main reason. Task that they do choose the input feature to split on. Which feature to choose to split? Okay. So this is a top-down induction actually. 2 questions are asked. Which node to proceed first? Best node for the next split. Okay, that to decide. And where to stop? Where are you going to stop? The tree intuition. So that's what is required. So assign A as a decision attribute for node. For each value of A, create a new descendant coming below. Sort the training example, leaf node according to attribute value. And if all the training examples are perfectly classified, then stop. See, when to stop? No more input features are remaining. All examples are classified same. And too few examples are there to make an informative split. Too few examples are required, so split maybe not required. Just like 1 and 10 that we have seen. Only one is there, misclassified. So keep it as it is. Which test to split on means what split you have to decide. So criteria are the split will give smallest amount of error, perfect line of horizontal and vertical, or with multi-valued features, or the split on values, or the split on values into half. Like many are there. We'll go statistically to check this operation. Let's have simple example. See, I want to decide whether I have to choose A1 or A2 to split a decision tree. A1 or A2, and two classes are there: plus class, minus class, plus and minus. In data set, we have 29 plus classes, 35 minus classes. Check this: 25 plus, 35 minus classes are there. Here also same. When I choose A1, first feature and its criteria to choose on. When I choose, then the splitting will be like that. Here, out of 29, 21 plus will go here and 8 will go here on false criteria. Okay. Out of 35, 5 will go here and 30 will go on false criteria. True will be 5 and false will be 30. Like, means 29, splitting will be done on that. We have 29 out of 29, 21 will go here, 8 will here. Okay. Out of 35, 5 here, 30 here. When I choose A1 and when I choose A2, what happens? See that. A2 condition, then if it is true, 18 will go here, 33. So out of 29, 18 will go on true side for A2 and 11 will go on false side for A2. Out of 35, 33 will go on true side for A2 and 2 will go on false side for A2. So whether you have to choose A1 or A2. So criteria is like information gain. Selection of an attribute to test each node, choosing the most useful attribute for classifying example, A1 or A2. So the variable which contains most or more information gain, that variable will be chosen for a split. What is information gain? Information gain means measure how well the given attribute separate the training example according to their target classification. I have separated it, and based on that, target prediction is correct. Target prediction is correct, maximally correct. So that variable will be chosen. So this method is used to select among the candidate attributes at each step while growing the tree, and we got the gain. The gain measured is between 0 to 1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.4, 0 0.5, 6, 7, 8 something, which reduces the uncertainty value that lies between 0 and 1. Now, how it's calculated? First of all, you are calculating entropy. Entropy calculation done. Uncertainty, purity, or information contained are measured with the help of the entropy. See the entropy mentioned over here. Information theory, optimal length code assigns minus log 2 bits to message having probability P. See, S is a sample of training examples. All 29 plus 35 something, that is S. Out of that S, P plus is a proportion of plus category and P minus is the proportion of minus category are there. So 29 and 35. Okay, that's what proportion, 20 and 35. Positive 29 percentage is P plus, negative 35 percentage is P minus. Okay. Now entropy is calculated first. Entropy is the average optimal number of bits to encode, that is information about uncertainty or certainty about S. This is the formula. Entropy of S is equal to P plus this one into log to the base 2 of P plus P minus into minus log to the base P minus 2 equal to, this is the formula that we find. Using this formula, entropy is calculated first, and from entropy you calculate the information gain. See, this is the entropy. Entropy is zero, is outcome is certain. So how it changes according to P. So here you have P samples. So it will drastically rise, and at the center again it will start decreasing. Okay. So sample space of training samples S, P plus is proportion positive sample, P minus proportion negative samples, and entropy is this. Entropy is equal to minus P plus into log of P plus to the base 2 minus P minus into log to the base 2 of P minus. Okay. That's what we have. And using entropy, we are calculating the information gain. So this is the formula. So like using our sample. So gain is reduction of entropy partitioning into S. See. First of all, entropy for our data set is calculated. Entropy for all the data, 29 plus and 35 minus, is equal to this. Using the formula mentioned here, P plus and P minus, I put that values here on, and I got entropy value 0.99. Check. You get a calculator and find it. I'll share presentation, shared already. 0.99 entropy for the given data set is there. And now I am coming here again to have a decision whether to choose A1 or A2. So see how it is done. So which is having information gain, that will be chosen. Information gain is taken by this formula. Information gain according to entropy of S. So see this one. First, if I am choosing A1, so A1's result is what? 21 plus 5 here, 21 plus 5 and 8 plus 35. 30. The entropy. So entropy for this part is 0.71 and entropy for this part is 0.74. Correct? Okay. And then the gain is calculated. Information gain is calculated by this method. Entropy of S minus, okay, all. You can check it. This formula is used for gain calculation. This is written over here. That formula I have applied, and I got information gain for A1 is 0.27 for A1. Next to that, using these values, when I split this, then what happens? This is given. The entropy for this part 0.94, entropy for this part is 0.62. Calculated. The same formula again applying. And information gain for A2 with these entropies is 0.12, which is calculated by using the same formula again. 0.12. Now compare whether A1 is having more information gain or A2 is having more information gain. Which is having A1. So A1 will be chosen now for split. A1 will be chosen for the split because it is having more information gain. By using entropy, gain is calculated. For both the split are considered true also, false also, and based on that we identify the gain using that formula. Check it. So what I want, entropy of S, that is 0.99 into minus 26 divided by 64 into 0.71 minus 34 divided by 64 into 0.74 is equal to 0.27. That's what I got. And for our case, humidity, temperature, atmosphere, whatever, which is chosen first? Outlook. Outlook is chosen first. Why? Here. Outlook is the first parameter chosen. Why? Check it out. So entropy for humidity is this, that 95 we got entropy for 0.94. Here also same. Every data set is same. If we make a humidity part high normal, so I will have the information gain putting all together as 0.151. For humidity, information gain is 0.151. And for wind, information gain is 0.048. If I make this one, this split. Again using same formula, entropy into 7 by 14 into 0.958 minus 7 by 14 into 0.5, every entropy of this calculated, that is entropy of this 0.9585, entropy of this is 0.592, combined together entropy information gain I calculated is 0.151 for humidity. Same we can do on windy also, 0.048. So humidity provides greater information gain than the wind respect to target classification, but we are not seen for all. Let's see for all. Outlook. Check the outlook here. Information gain is 0.971 for outlook. Here it is 0 because perfect classification is done. Here rain 3 2 are there, 0.971, same 3 2 3 2. And gain of outlook calculated is 0.247. And check all the four attributes. Outlook 0.247a, humidity 0.151a, wind 0.048a, temperature 0.029a. Which is having highest information gain? Outlook 0.247. Splitting will be done with the criteria of Outlook because it has more information gain. That's why splitting is done perfectly. So using the formulas of entropy calculation, using entropy into information gain, then we calculate it, and then we have decided which feature to split upon. So if it's having more information gain, that feature is used to split the tree, create it, tree, split, and go on using actual tree with this particular example there. This is how the decision tree actually perform the operations with. I have uploaded this presentation on the given link that we have shared already. You just can download from there and learn the things by your own. If any doubts or questions are there regarding decision tree, you can ask. In the next session, I'll show the implementation of the tree with by some simple example. We'll try to implement that tree. We'll try to visualize also. We'll get a clear idea how decision trees used and what's the application of decision tree on the classification algorithm there. Okay, so actually practical is there after that. These are the main criteria that we need to understand from the decision tree point of view, and that's what we have learned from here. Okay, so if any doubts or questions are there for today's session, so you can put in the chat box or you can ask directly also. If any questions, so you can ask. No questions. Okay, so thank you. Tomorrow we'll see the remaining topics. I think random forest and neural networks are there that we'll see in tomorrow's session. Thank you.